Hi everyone, very good evening. I am Pooja Upadhyay and I'm the Marketing and Branding Head at Smart Training Consultancy Services. And today we've come for another Rubaru session, which is with one very famous personality, and we've known him for a very long time. We really want to know more about this person. I would just want to give you a little heads up on who this person is. He is a top of the table and 41-year member of $1 Million Round Table, the premier association of financial professionals, was divisional vice president of MDRT's membership communication committee and MDRT management council member, chair of MDRT Foundation's global engagement committee, MDRT ambassador and speaker at numerous MDRT annual meetings. He's a Bachelor of Commerce graduate, a certified financial planner professional, and alumnus of the Vedanta Academy India, sorry for that, and passed the exam of the Chartered Insurance Institute London, and has presented to tens of thousands of people throughout the world over the past 35 years. His first keynote presentation in India were at the LIRT conference. We will definitely find out from him what exactly is LIRT conference in Bangalore in 1996. He spoke extensively on MDRT and how to qualify for membership. Dozens of attendees did in fact achieve MDRT qualification for very first time in the last 3-4 months of 1996, including R.K. Shetty and Lazarus Dias. He was invited to present again at the 1997 and 2001 LIRT conference. He also conducted numerous full-day seminars in India and addressed top LIC producers. He is an author of the best-selling book, which is Unleash Your Magic, proven strategies to help liberate the amazing power within. In this book, he captures the magic of MDRT with succinct summaries of some of the most powerful presentations ever delivered at MDRT annual meetings. He highlights the significant benefits of visualization, self-management, humor, and laughter, as well as the critical importance of living a life of balance and purpose. In this third edition, he incorporates profound lessons learned from the past 6 years of his intensive philosophy spirituality studies at the Vedanta Academy in Pune, India. He shares the secret of success and demonstrates how we can overcome adversity and be the creators of our own destiny. As human beings, we are endowed with an incredible capacity to dream big and to convert these dreams to reality. He demonstrates how we can rise above self-imposed limitations and unlock our inherent unlimited human potential. Wow, like, isn't this just amazing? I would want you all to please put your hands together and help me call upon here Mr. Logan Naidu.
Well, thank you so much, Pooja.
Hi, sir. Very good evening.
Very good evening to you and to your listeners.
It gives me immense pleasure to invite you today, and I'm sharing this same platform with you. It's like the biggest thing I could have dreamt of.
Well, it's my pleasure. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So, sir, I would just like to again emphasize on the fact that we've come today for the Rubaru session, which has been brought to us by Senfinity Mega Launch, which is happening on 3rd July.
Right.
And sir, in response to this, not only me, but we have gotten a lot of questions from across the nation for you, with people who want to know and they want to understand few things from you, which we will be addressing today. And I really look forward to getting answers to those questions from your end, because people, not only me, but everyone across the nation wants to learn from your wisdom and your teachings. We would really want to take this forward. So without wasting any time, I'm going to start with the Q&A round. Is there anything you want to say or address?
Yeah, just to mention that, you spoke about LIRT conferences.
Yes.
That I spoke at in India. That was way back in 1996. That's 26 plus years ago, really. LIRT stands for the Life Insurance Round Table. It was a national organization that held a national convention every year in a different place.
Yeah.
And you had insurance advisors, agents from all companies throughout India attending. So they used to get a number of international speakers and lots of top local speakers to address the convention.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I didn't know it. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'll ask you once we go live with this whole session. Okay.
Right.
So without wasting any time of yours, I'm going to get started with my questions.
Sure.
So my very first question to you is, why is it important to set goals? Like why? Why is goal setting so important, and how can we do it? What are your inputs on this?
Well, even the noted psychologist Freud said it's really important to have goals, right? It's dangerous to the psyche, he says, not to have goals. So goals are what direct a human being to achieve what they want to achieve in their lives, right? So without goals, without a certain target to aim for, you have a mind, you have an intellect, you have a capacity within you to basically automatically achieve what you want to achieve in your life. But if there's no goal that is set, then there's no reference point, for your equipment to really work and achieve what you want to achieve. So it becomes all important, because without goals, you will get nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
Yes, that's beautifully explained. Okay, now this again brings me to my another question, which is, how can you be the architect of your destiny?
Right, this is actually the basis of my talk, where you can invent your future. And the very first thing that human beings generally need to understand is that we've got to appreciate who we are. So if we do not understand who we are in terms of our makeup itself, the kind of equipment we have to help us to achieve great, extraordinary goals, if we don't understand that, then it becomes impossible, really. So basically, we need to, number one, appreciate who we are, understand the equipment that we're made up of, and what the relative functions are, so that we can then utilize it. For instance, we have a mind and we have an intellect, right?
Yeah.
The mind is all about feelings, emotions, likes, dislikes. Intellect is about thinking, reflecting, discriminating, judging, and most people operate emotionally.
Yes.
So what we try and emphasize is that if they use this most wondrous equipment that they have, the intellect, to guide their actions, they can achieve greatness, really.
Perfect. Mind blowing. This is really beautifully answered. Okay. All right. So I don't know. So I have just pinned down 10 best questions that we've gotten from across the nation, and I really look forward to the whole mega launch that we have,
Yes.
and you will be there live in front of all of us. And I think there are going to be millions of questions flowing in, because people would want to know a lot more from you. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead on my next question, which
Sure.
is, what is visualization? What exactly does this mean, and how can it help?
Okay, that's a concept that you mentioned the book that I've written. I've got 2 chapters on visualization. Visualization is actually a process. Remember I said we have the tools, we have the equipment to be able to achieve greatness.
Yes.
But many of these tools, many of these equipment are lying dormant. They're not even active, basically. They're not being utilized. So one of the tools we have is this power of visualization.
Yes.
No other creature has this, Pooja. Right? Human beings have the capacity to imagine what they are that they want to achieve. Let me explain that. So in other words, you can set a vision of what you want to achieve in your life. Right? For instance, somebody that's just very basic production, 1/10 of the $1 million round table production requirement, wants to make top of the table. It's a big gap there. So, we give them a formula whereby they can visualize that they've achieved this particular goal already, right? There's a process, so, it's not as simple as it sounds. You've got to visualize the end result, and then we teach them how to go about actually, achieving that end result, where they can make it possible. I share real live examples of, how people can visualize. All the great athletes, including Neeraj Chopra, all of them use this technique of visualization to become number one in their particular sport or whatever field of endeavor they are in. So yeah, it's a capacity that we have to literally determine what we want to be in the future. We can set our own future. That's the whole purpose of my talk, really. And I'll go into a little bit more detail in the talk itself.
Yeah, all right. We really, really look forward to the same. Okay. So, sir, now the next question is, where are we seeking happiness and peace? Like, where on the planet are we looking for happiness? Like, a few days ago, I was just discussing this with my friend and I was like, I'm not really happy. She's like, happiness is just like a feeling. It's not life. And, she asked me, where exactly are you looking for happiness? What makes you happy? I said, I don't know what makes me happy. Where are we looking for happiness? Where are we looking for this mental peace?
Well, it's objective evidence, Pooja. You can look around, look at your own life, basically. What makes us happy? Often, not all the time, but getting new stuff, right? You get a new dress or a new computer or a new car, or you get a new husband, or you get married, for instance, etc., etc. So anything that you're looking for, or the place that you're looking for happiness, is anything that's external. So in other words, anything outside of you. So if you look at all the stuff that I mentioned and everything that people generally look for, it's outside of them, right? They're looking for it externally. So for argument's sake, somebody wants a new car, right? They say that would really make me happy. So they get the new car. And of course, they are happy, no doubt about that. You can't deny that. But that happiness has what we call a shelf life. It's temporary, right? 6 months goes by and suddenly they realize, no, gee whiz, I need something more. So they get this something else. Keeps them happy for a while, and then they realize, no, this is not giving me that kind of deep-seated happiness that I'm looking for. And this search continues ad infinitum. In other words, it goes on forever. Your desires multiply, you keep wanting more and more. People are never satisfied with what they are, irrespective of the quantum. Because we can give you examples of billionaires, multi-billionaires that are miserable and bored. Can you imagine? They've got all the money in the world to buy whatever they want to, but they're bored, they're miserable. So the search for happiness is external. And that's the problem. We're searching for it everywhere but where we should search for it.
Wow, sir. This completely makes sense. Okay, now I want to ask you something very, very personal. Are you happy?
Oh, I'm very, very happy.
Yeah?
Absolutely. I've realized this concept for the last, I think, maybe 30, 40 years,
Yeah.
So from a very young age, I've been following this path to try and understand that I determine my happiness, not anybody else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, now that takes me to my another question, which is very, very relevant to my previous one. What is the source of our peace, happiness, power? Is it, what is it?
Right. Okay. Again, that's a really, really good question. I mentioned where people are searching for happiness. Arthur Schopenhauer, one of the greatest philosophers that ever lived, a German philosopher, he says.
What was his name again?
Arthur Schopenhauer.
All right. Okay.
He says it is very difficult to find happiness within, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else. Now, this stuff about the fact that happiness can only be found within has been preached by the philosophers of India for thousands of years. Right? You look at all the great scriptures that you can ever think of, all mention the fact that deep within man is perfect, is perfectly happy, is completely blissful and ever at peace.
Yes.
Deep within.
Yes.
But since we're searching outside Puja, we're searching everywhere else but within, the direction of the search has to change. Right? It has to change from looking outside to looking within. The great poet T.S. Eliot says we must not cease from exploration. So keep exploring. But right, so we must not cease, must not stop, we must not cease from exploration. And the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we began and to know the place for the first time. In other words, you can search everywhere to your heart's content. But ultimately, you've got to come and start the search within. So the point we make is that why waste your time searching fruitlessly externally when these great masters, the great philosophers of every religion are telling you that all the answers, all the happiness, all the bliss, all the peace you ever seek is within.
That's very intense.
It is
So
intense, actually.
My God, like I think I'm getting engrossed in what you're saying, and I'm just trying to like implement it right now in my life. Like I've just decided I'm going to look for happiness within, but of course it can't happen in 10 minutes. But in detail, when you actually explain it to me when you come for the mega launch, when I'm with you live talking about these things.
Absolutely.
So that's really intense, sir. I must give it to you. Like you're speaking from your true wisdom, and thank you so much for sharing this with me and with all of us over here.
It's a pleasure.
Okay. Yeah. Now I'll quickly take you to my next question, which says, who is in the driver's seat? Is it you or something else?
Right. Again, really, really good questions. When we say driver's seat, Pooja, what we're saying is that who is in control of
your life?
Of our life, my life, who's in control of your life, every individual.
Yeah.
Who's actually determining what happens in your life? Are you the driver, or have you allowed the reins of your life to be controlled by somebody else? Like the reins of a horse. The rider controls the reins of the horse. So in your case, who's controlling the reins? Are you controlling the reins, or have you abdicated control and are you giving it to somebody else? And as long as you give the control of your life to somebody else, you have no right to complain about your particular situation, because you have chosen. It's a choice we make, Pooja, right? We choose whether we want to control our life or if we want to give up control of our life. And my point is that if you choose to give up control of your life, then you shouldn't blame anybody else for your situation.
Yeah.
But we must understand that no matter what other influences people may have, they've got no control, no real influence on the direction of my life. I am solely and only the only one responsible for the direction my life takes.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Makes sense. Yes, completely. Okay. So, but in this situation, are we also talking about, like, for example, if today I'm dedicating my life to a mentor, like there is someone whom I look up to, and I decide that okay, I'm gonna like just walk the path of this person, and so does that also mean that I've dedicated my the power of control to someone else?
No, not at all, Pooja. What you would do very judiciously, in other words, very objectively, you would take advice, right? Obviously, some other people would have far greater knowledge on particular subjects than you or I would, for instance.
Yeah.
So absolutely, that's part of the process of learning new things, new methodologies, new concepts, and so forth, really. So yes, no, it certainly does not mean that you do not take advice, that you do not take guidance. What I was trying to say is that in the final analysis, you make the decision.
Yes.
Right? There's a specific equipment within you that must make the decision. It must not be done purely emotionally, right? That's where you bring in this equipment we have called the intellect, which basically thinks, reasons, judges, and decides. So you've got to use this faculty within us to look at things carefully and then decide what information do I want to take in, what do I want to reject, what will work for me according to me, right? Even though there's been input and advice from outside.
Yes.
Take as much advice as you want to, but in the final analysis, I'm saying, don't be controlled by somebody else, right? Listen to their advice, but you don't have to completely succumb to them effectively.
Yes, sir. I agree to this. Yeah, that was some confusion I had in my mind, but yeah. Okay. So now going forward, my next question to you is, Logan, sir. You first spoke at the LIRT conference in Bangalore, which was way back in 1996.
Yes.
And long journey.
Yeah.
And what was the impact of your two talks, sir? Like, how did you create that momentum over there? How did it impact people?
All right, that was a fascinating experience. It was my very first visit to India, in fact.
Oh, wow.
In September 1996, early September, the conference is normally held. So I was invited, and I prepared two talks, and I was already pretty active within MDRT. Many years of membership. And I was always wanting to speak to people about MDRT, encourage them to become members, simply because I'd gotten such amazing benefits out of MDRT. So anyway, I come to this conference. They had a whole lot of other speakers there also. Delivered my talks. It was all about MDRT. What is membership of MDRT? What does membership mean? How can you become a member? What is the qualification requirement? What are the benefits other than the normal benefits, productivity, etc. You can attend an annual convention in the United States, and where they get the best speakers from across the globe. So I spoke about this, and then I got a really good reception, did a second talk about it. And it's only after I'd finished off that talk, that I realized the impact it had. Because I went back to South Africa, I sent a letter to every delegate just summarizing some of the key points of my talk. And some of the biggest names in India, in fact, at that time were not big names. One was R.K. Shetty. Right? R.K. Shetty, he had about maybe 1/5 of his MDRT requirement. This was September. You only had 3 months up to the end of that calendar year to qualify. And R.K. and including Lazarus Dice were so inspired by my talk, particularly on visualization, and I gave them a specific tool or technique called the 20-point plan, an activity generator, whereby they could, visualize themselves making the conference and actually making it. So R.K. Shetty decided he was going to apply this in his life, as did Lazarus Dice. And in the next just over 3 months, both of them made up about 80, possibly 80 or 90% of the required production and qualified for MDRT. And the rest of it is history. In my book, for instance, Unleash Your Magic, I've got R.K. Shetty's story and Lazarus Dice's story, where they explain how they came to that very first meeting in Bangalore in 1996, what the impact was, and how it changed the course of their lives forever, really. As you know, R.K. Shetty's become one of the top, agents throughout India, played massive roles in $1 Million Round Table, executive management, etc. Lazarus Dice has gone on to, come up with his own training academy, and he's done remarkably well, made MDRT many years thereafter. And apparently another few dozen delegates made MDRT in 1996. So they invited me back in 1997, and we did the same story again. There was another massive turnout for that, and really amazing response. And 2 years later, I came back to India again.
It gives me goosebumps while I'm talking to you. These legendary people, the names and you, and this is just glorifying.
Yeah.
That was one of an experience. Okay. Yeah. So now, very quickly, I'll move up to my next question, because we have this time crunch and I need to cover up all the questions because I need your answers for all of these. So that brings me to my next question, Logan sir, which is, what other interaction did you have with the insurance industry in India?
Yeah. Since 1996, that was the start, basically. Then what I did, I thought, from coming to a meeting, just one convention, why don't I have full-day seminars in India? So basically, I had a number of seminars in Mumbai. Fortunately, R.K. Shetty's office helped to handle it and do all the logistics for it. So we've had like 300 people coming to full day seminars where, again, we went into very much more detail about all the concepts, that I speak about in my book, in fact, including visualization, 20-point plan, and so forth. So we've had many seminars, full day seminars. I've spoken at many life insurance companies in India. Once the LIC got 200 of their top agents from Mumbai, and as you know, they have probably over 100,000 agents in Mumbai. They selected the 200 top agents and had an exclusive event with me talking for 2 hours.
Wow.
So specially convened event, and all the big deals from LIC were there. So
Yeah.
that was another amazing experience, really.
Indeed.
And I've been coming up and down to India ever since 1996.
Yeah?
So much so that I've decided to relocate to India.
You should, 100%. You have to
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Okay, sir. I'll quickly move to my another question because this was very, very self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And so my next question is: you wrote a book which is Unleash Your Magic, which we just spoke about, and it's like
Yeah,
a very
that's the one. Yeah.
beautiful looking book, and definitely it has a lot of wisdom from your end. And I'm gonna get my copy right after this call.
Of course.
Yeah. So Unleash Your Magic, that has sold thousands of copies. What are the key lessons for insurance agents? Like, I will definitely get it for myself, but how about the insurance guys? Like, what is the key learning that they're going to get from this book?
Well, I tell you, Pooja, the whole book is actually something that would benefit any insurance agents. So among the concepts that I speak about, I mean, I talk about, as I mentioned already, visualization. I've got two entire chapters on visualization where I go into very specific examples of how I applied visualization in my life, in my own life, and the impact that had. Then I speak about the multitude of top personalities, from actors to top, superstars in sports, etc., how they have used this concept of visualization. Then I speak about the 20-point activity generator. In fact, this 20-point activity generator is guaranteed to make anybody succeed if they apply it diligently and consistently throughout their insurance career. They will double, treble, quadruple their production, basically. What I found, though, combined with visualization and the 20-point plan, so using these two tools together, I go so far as to say that I will guarantee, at my seminars, for instance, Pooja, I tell them I'll guarantee a rebate if you do not double your production in 1 year. Because I'm confident, I know it works. It's been tried by so many people. And there is no way that you cannot succeed if you apply the principle. Then I go into many other philosophical concepts about life and about living, how they can search for this happiness that we were speaking about, how they can achieve peace of mind. It's much more than just about selling life insurance. It's about how they can become a whole person. Million Dollar Roundtable has this whole person concept, having a balance in life. So I go in depth, give them exercises to do to establish how balanced they are and how they can rectify it. So there's just so much here. I can't go through all the different benefits here, basically.
Yeah, surely. But that copy, guys, we all have to get this copy. I'm getting mine right after this call, and I would request everyone to get theirs. Okay, why should agents attend this event, sir? This is my last question, and this will call off the interview now. And that is, why should agents come for this event, sir? The mega launch that's happening on 3rd July. Why are these guys supposed to be there? What are they going to learn? Why should they come for one full day?
Absolutely. A fundamental question, really. One of the things that I've incorporated into my life, Pooja, right from the day I joined the industry, is to get as much knowledge as I could about the industry, about the concepts, about how successful people operate. Right? You need guidance. You're just coming in raw, out the blue, but it's not only for people that are new to the industry.
Yeah.
This day that we're going to be together is for new people, for experienced people, for top people, right? What we will do is we will share concepts that will help them to, become, set higher goals, and become much more, relevant to their industry, to their clients, achieve significantly higher goals in their lives. So instead of, say, spending 10 years trying to figure out what to do, speakers at this conference will guide them on how they succeeded in life. In my own talk, as I talk about inventing your future, I will show them how they can be the masters of their destiny, right? They can determine what level of success they achieve in their lives. It's really something that's within the capacity of every individual to achieve. And as I said, in the book, I give them all the kind of answers they're looking for. And the links to the book can be found on my website, logannaidu.com. But I guarantee that anybody who attends this event will leave significantly enriched. And they'll be raring to go back and have pride in the industry and start to really achieve their true potential in life.
I'm sure. I'm damn sure about this, sir. I agree to you. Okay, so sir, now that brings me to an end of this interview. Like, thank you so much for sharing your valuable inputs, for sharing your valuable learnings, your wisdom with us. 10 questions you've answered already. And I think we have, like, not just me, but we have so many more people waiting to ask you so many more questions, which we'll be catering on 3rd July for our mega launch. And I really look forward to seeing you live over there for a one-day program. Along with you, we have 8 more guest speakers, and it's huge. It's like a free program that is there for one full day. And we really look forward to meeting you over there, Logan, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pooja. Your questions were really good, and it's been a pleasure to interact with you here.
Same here, sir. It gives me immense pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for your valuable time.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye.